Welcome to iReview. When it comes to building a survival arsenal, most people make a critical miscalculation. They instinctively reach for the largest, most intimidating rifle available, only to find themselves severely disadvantaged weeks later, unable to hunt discreetly or carry a sustainable amount of ammunition. Today, we are counting down the definitive top 6 firearms, genuinely worth your investment in a total grid-down scenario. Fair warning, our top 2 selections challenge conventional wisdom and will likely spark some debate in the comments section. But here's the reality that many review channels overlook. In a genuine collapse, survival isn't determined by who has the most overwhelming firepower. It is dictated by who can still operate and feed their weapon months after the supply chains fail. Ammunition availability, parts commonality, and mechanical simplicity, these are the real-world metrics that ensure survival. Let's get into the review. Ruger GP100 357 Magnum. Let's talk about what happens when all the mechanical stuff that can fail actually does fail. Springs snap, magazine feedlicks crack, extractors break, and at some point in a long crisis, semi-auto parts will eventually let you down. This is exactly why the number 6 spot on the apocalyptic survival list belongs to the Ruger GP100 in 357 Magnum. A revolver simply doesn't have that problem. Ruger originally introduced the GP100 in 1985 to replace the Security 6, and they did so with one specific design goal: to build the toughest medium-frame revolver on the planet. Looking at it objectively, while competitors like Smith & Wesson chased smooth triggers and refined finishes, Ruger went full tank mode. The GP100 boasts a solid steel frame with no side plates, making it structurally stronger than almost any other revolver you can name. It was engineered specifically to eat unlimited full-power 357 Magnum rounds without the frame stretching or the timing drifting. That is not just marketing jargon, that is just how the gun is built. It operates in double action and usually comes with a 4.2-inch or 6-inch barrel. Adding to its utilitarian nature, the grip frame is essentially just a steel peg, allowing you to bolt on whatever grip size works best for your hand, keeping the platform modular and dead simple. Subjectively speaking, the real survival angle that people tend to sleep on is its functional versatility. The GP100 fires both 357 Magnum and .38 Special, meaning you get 2 different calibers out of one single cylinder. In a high-stress scenario, if you strike a dead round, there is no complicated tap-rack-bang drill required. You just pull the trigger again, and the next chamber rotates right in. There is zero drama, and no magazine to fumble with in the dark. When it comes to the price tag, new stainless models currently run between $800 and $950. If you want to save a bit of cash, used ones in solid shape go for $650 to $700. My personal verdict on this piece of hardware: honestly, a used GP100 probably has more service life left in it than you do. It is the ultimate fail-safe for when the supply chain and modern mechanics leave you completely in the dark. Mossberg 590A1. When building a survival arsenal, versatility is often the name of the game, and that brings us to the number 5 spot on the list, the Mossberg 590A1. This is the only shotgun that made the cut, and honestly, nothing else was even in the conversation. Objectively speaking, the 590A1 stands in a league of its own because it is the only pump shotgun to pass the military's brutal mil-spec 3443 Echo test. That rigorous standard translates to surviving 3,000 rounds of full-power buckshot without a single failure. While the standard civilian Mossberg 500 cuts costs with plastic trigger guards and lighter components, the 590A1 upgrades absolutely everything. It is built like a tank. Heavy-walled barrel, metal trigger guard, metal safety, dual extractors, twin action bars to prevent binding, and an anti-jam elevator. Most models hold an impressive 7+1 or 8+1 rounds, and maintenance is incredibly straightforward thanks to a clean-out magazine tube design. You just unscrew the end cap and run a brush straight through without needing full disassembly. Some models even come equipped with ghost ring sights and a bayonet lug, which, in a zombie apocalypse, might actually matter for once. Subjectively, What makes this 12-gauge truly irreplaceable is its pure adaptability. You have one gun and one platform that can handle a dozen different jobs depending entirely on what you load into the tube. You can run birdshot for small game, switch to buckshot for home defense, or load heavy slugs for deer-sized game and stopping a vehicle. Furthermore, in a collapse scenario, the ultimate power source for this shotgun is simply your arm. There is no finicky gas system to foul up and no recoil spring to wear out. You can wipe it down with whatever random oil you manage to scrounge up, and it just keeps running. When it comes to the price, you can expect to spend anywhere from $650 to $850, depending on your specific setup. The standard 7-shot security model generally lands right around the $700 mark. My personal verdict: that is actual military-tested hardware at a price that most people can actually swing. If you don't own a combat shotgun yet, fix that. Glock 19 Gen 5. The most boring gun on this entire list, and that is exactly why it firmly secures the number 4 spot. Since the late 80s, the Glock 19 has been the measuring stick for combat handguns across the globe. Objectively speaking, the Glock 19 Gen 5 is a striker-fired, polymer-frame pistol chambered in 9mm Luger. It is a masterclass in mechanical simplicity. 34 total parts. Detail strip the entire weapon with just a single punch tool. The proprietary safe action system provides 3 internal safeties without any manual thumb safety to forget about in a high-stress situation. With the Gen 5 iteration, Glock upgraded the platform by adding a marksman barrel for tighter groups and dropping the molded finger grooves, allowing a wider variety of hand sizes to grip it comfortably. Subjectively, while it might not be the most visually exotic piece to feature in a hyper-realistic cinematic showcase on Range Zone, everybody runs this platform because it simply works. No drama, no surprises, no stories. The real apocalypse argument for this pistol is its absolute ubiquity. It is the single most common handgun platform in the United States. When the supply chain is completely dead and buried, commonality is king. Glock magazines and 9mm ammo will be the most findable resources on the continent, whether they are left in an abandoned police cruiser, a raided station, or a cleaned-out gun store. When pricing it out, standard models run from $530 to $600. If you are looking to upgrade to optic-ready or night sight models, the price pushes to roughly $650 to $700. My personal verdict: it is not the most accurate pistol on the market, it is not the prettiest, and it is certainly not the most fun at the range. However, it is the handgun version of a Toyota Camry. It starts every single morning. It never makes you think twice about it. What would you pay to never have to worry about your sidearm? That is exactly what a Glock costs. AK-47, Zastava M70. If the AR-15 is a precision instrument, the AK-47 is a hammer that simply never breaks. Taking the number 3 spot on the survival list is the Zastava M70 out of Serbia, which currently stands as the gold standard for AKs in the American market. Whether you're breaking down technical specs for a cinematic feature on iReview or preparing for a total collapse of the grid, this is the kind of uncompromising hardware that commands respect. Looking at it objectively, this rifle wasn't just some parts kit slapped together in a garage. It was built in a real military factory to rigorous military specs. The M70 boasts a thicker 15mm RPK-style bulge trunnion and a cold hammer-forged, chrome-lined barrel. It operates on a robust long-stroke gas piston system, chambered in 7.62 by 39. Mechanically, it features a safety selector that cleverly doubles as a dust cover for the internals, complete with a bolt hold open notch on the lever, alongside a side rail for mounting optics. The rifle weighs in at about 8 pounds with its heavy wood furniture, which serves a highly functional purpose by helping to soak up that .30 caliber recoil. Subjectively speaking, the true signature move of this platform is its absolute neglect tolerance. Mikhail Kalashnikov designed this overarching philosophy for Soviet conscripts fighting in -40-degree weather, meaning if a minimally trained kid could run it in the worst conditions on Earth, it will work everywhere else. The intentionally loose tolerances mean that mud, sand, and carbon buildup simply cannot stop the action from cycling. You can run it bone dry. Clean it with motor oil drained from an abandoned car. Feed it corrosive surplus ammo all day long, while that chrome-lined barrel just shrugs. Furthermore, 7.62 by 39 hits noticeably harder than 5.56 inside of 200 yards. And because it is the most widely produced rifle in human history, parts and ammo exist on literally every continent. When discussing the price, ZPA PM70s generally go for $950 to $1,100, with about $1,050 seeming to be the standard going rate for a solid model. My personal verdict is straightforward. While that is real money for an AK, you have to remember that this isn't some bargain bin import. This is the real thing. The AR-15 likes to be maintained, but the AK prefers to be ignored, making it a relentlessly reliable powerhouse when the supply chain is completely wiped out. Ruger 1022 Takedown. Yeah, a 22 sitting all the way up at number 2. Before you rush to the comments to roast that placement, let's step away from the cinematic combat fantasies we usually visualize and look at the gritty reality of survival. Objectively, since 1964, the Ruger 1022 has cemented itself as the most successful rimfire rifle in history. The takedown version is a blowback semi-auto that allows you to separate the barrel from the receiver with a quick twist, meaning the whole system packs down easily to fit inside any standard backpack. It feeds from Ruger's flush-fitting 10-round rotary magazine, which stands as arguably the most reliable rimfire magazine ever constructed. Furthermore, it is dead simple to maintain and modular enough to allow for basic field repairs without requiring any special tools. Subjectively, the true value of this rifle lies in its utility. In every apocalypse scenario, people picture last stands and endless firefights, but the harsh truth is that you are going to spend 95% of your time just trying not to starve. That is exactly where the 1022 transforms into the single greatest food procurement tool ever designed. The math completely changes how you view survival logistics. You can carry 500 rounds of 22 LR in a single cargo pocket. That translates directly to 500 squirrels, 500 rabbits, and 500 chances to feed your family. It is also quiet enough that taking a shot won't announce your position to every threat within a mile. Because 22 LR is the most produced ammunition on Earth, it will be the absolute last caliber to vanish during a shortage, a reality we already watched play out during the supply chain issues of 2020. When it comes to pricing, the standard takedown model will run you between $450 and $550. If you want the upgraded backpacker model, which features Magpul furniture and convenient stock magazine storage, you are looking at about $600. My personal verdict: when producing detailed tactical evaluations for platforms like iReview, it is incredibly easy to get caught up in stopping power and tactical advantage. However, for actual long-term survival, this little rimfire rifle might matter more than everything else on the list put together. Tell me that's not the best value here. I dare you. AR-15. This was never really a contest, at least not for an American apocalypse. Taking the undisputed #1 spot is the AR-15, specifically pointing toward duty-grade manufacturers like BCM or Daniel Defense. Objectively speaking, Eugene Stoner's design from the 1950s took decades to grow up, but the modern AR-15 is now the most refined fighting rifle on the planet. The platform generally runs on a direct impingement or piston-driven system, is chambered in 5.56 by 45 NATO, and weighs in at a highly manageable 6 to 7 pounds. Its mechanical modularity is practically unmatched. 2 simple pins separate the upper from the lower receiver, meaning you can pop them out and swap your upper to change calibers or barrel lengths in under a minute. If you look at top-tier options like the Daniel Defense DDM4 models, you are getting cold hammer-forged barrels and bolt carrier groups that are high-pressure tested and magnetic particle inspected, checked at the microscopic level for any flaws that could cause a catastrophic failure. Subjectively, what cements the AR-15 at the top of the list is that it is America's rifle in the most literal sense possible. It serves as the standardized platform for the U.S. military, the majority of law enforcement agencies, and the largest civilian rifle market in history. In a total collapse, that ubiquity becomes your greatest asset. AR-15 parts, magazines, and 5.56 ammunition will be more available than any other rifle system. That isn't just an opinion, it is pure math. There are simply more ARs in the country than any other centerfire rifle. Beyond logistics, 5.56 ammunition is incredibly light, allowing you to load 200 rounds onto your kit and still stay mobile. The recoil is soft enough that anyone in your survival group can shoot it accurately, and it boasts the largest accessory ecosystem in the entire firearms industry for lights, optics, lasers, slings, and suppressors. When budgeting for one, a true duty-grade AR-15 will run you anywhere from $1,500 to $2,200. You can achieve world-class reliability by matching a BCM complete upper with a quality lower for around $1,600, while a complete Daniel defense rifle will land between $1,800 and $2,000. My personal verdict: does a heavy hitter like the M1A pack a bigger punch at range? Absolutely. But the grim reality is that you cannot easily scavenge M14 parts in every abandoned gun store, police armory, or National Guard depot from coast to coast. In a long-term survival scenario, the overwhelming logistical advantage of the AR-15 outweighs everything else. It is real money to spend up front. But this is the singular platform that will keep itself running long after the supply chain is dead and gone, making it the absolute best choice for defense if you had to walk out the door right now. 6 guns is a lot of hardware to consider, and realistically, most of us cannot grab the entire list at once. If I could only pick 3 weapons to grab and walk out the door right now, the choices are clear. The AR-15 for defense, the Ruger 1022 for food procurement, and the Glock 19, because a handgun is the weapon you will actually have on your body when it truly matters. However, there is a harsh truth that beats all 10 of these picks. Your absolute most important survival tool weighs about 3 pounds and sits right between your ears. At the end of the day, training beats gear every single time. A $400 rifle in practiced hands will absolutely destroy a $2,000 rifle in untrained ones, and it is not even close.